Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a T-Rex. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to create the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having a hard time drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the right, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. The circles should be about the same size, but place the circle on the right slightly lower than the circle on the left. Don't place the circles too far away from each other, otherwise the body will be too long. On the top left side of the first circle, draw another circle as a guide for the head. The head circle should be smaller than the first circle. Pay attention to the placement of the head circle. If you draw it too far away from the body, the neck will be too long. To the left of the head circle, make a small mark for the first part of the guide for the muzzle. Then connect the small mark to the head circle using curved lines to finish the guide for the muzzle. The guide for the muzzle should be similar to an arc on its side. Draw a horizontal line across the entire head shape. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. Now near the middle of the entire head shape, draw a smaller vertical line for another construction guide. Under the first circle, draw a short angled line as a guide for the first arm. This line should be small and it should bend down and to the left. Above that, draw a shorter line as a guide for the other arm. On the bottom left side of the second circle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the first hind leg. This guide should bend at the top for a joint and then at the bottom for the foot. To the right, draw another angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. This line should slope at the top and bend to the left at the bottom. Now draw two short lines that connect the head to the circle as a guide for the neck. Then use two longer lines to connect the first two circles to finish the guide for the torso. On the right side, draw a long horizontal line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head circle, on the top left side, draw a small circle for the eye. Place the eye very close to the edge of the circle and the vertical construction guide. In the middle of the eye, draw a small spot for the pupil, and off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. Draw a couple of short curved lines around the eye for the eyelid and some wrinkles. Higher up above the eye, draw a longer curved line for the thick brow. Above that, draw a wavier line for the top part of the bony brow. Draw a few more short curved lines on the right side to emphasize the brow. Now draw the long wavy mouth across the horizontal construction guide. The line for the mouth should stretch farther to the right than the eye. Sketch the line lightly across the horizontal construction guide. When you get the shape right, darken the line. Darken the top part of the arc to create the front part of the muzzle. At the top, draw a curved line for the bony brow that's on the other side of the head. Then on the right, draw the back of the head along the path of the initial circle. At the tip of the muzzle, draw a small teardrop shape for the nostril. Below the mouth, draw another wavy line for the bottom part of the open mouth. Just like before, sketch lightly at first, and when you get the shape right, darken the line. Now draw the lower jaw along the initial shape of the arc. Make the front part of the lower jaw wider than the initial arc. Curve the line up on the right side for the strong jaw. Along the top and bottom of the mouth, draw small triangular shapes for the teeth. Make the teeth different sizes and don't draw them too far to the right. Add a line between the teeth at the bottom for the other side of the lower jaw. Use the small angled line under the front part of the body as a guide to draw the first arm. Lightly sketch the shape of the arm around the guideline. Draw a small curved line on the left side for the first digit. On the tip of the digit, draw a tiny triangular shape for the claw. When you get the shape of the arm right, darken the lines. Use curved lines as you draw the shape for the muscle structure of the arm. Above the first digit, draw the visible portion of the other digit. Use the shorter line above as a guide to draw the other arm the same way. Lightly sketch the arm around the guideline, and when you get the shape right, darken the lines. Now use the long angled line on the right as a guide to draw the first hind leg. Just like before, first lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Use wavy lines as you draw the shape of the leg to emphasize the muscle structure. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. On the bottom left side, draw a couple of small triangular shapes for the claws and toes. Make the leg wide at the top, and then using curved lines, make it skinnier at the bottom. Draw a short line inside the leg near the middle to emphasize the joint. Now use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guideline, and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. On the bottom left side, draw a couple of small triangular shapes for the claws and toes. Use wavy lines to emphasize the muscle structure and the joints. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the initial guidelines to create the shape of the body. Use wavier lines as you darken the guides for a more organic shape. Now use the line on the right as a guide to draw the tail. Lightly sketch the shape of the tail around the guideline. The base of the tail on the left side should be wide, and then the shape should get more narrow toward the right. When you get the shape of the tail right, darken the line. The tip of the tail should be thin and pointy. And now erase all of the guidelines for a cleaner drawing. The next few steps are sped up so that the video won't be too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines. It's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. It is now believed that T-Rexes had feathers, but we're drawing the popular Jurassic Park version of a T-Rex. Use a dark value to create shadows all over the body. Shadows will give the T-Rex more volume and help the figure look more three-dimensional. Shade lightly at first and then gradually build up to darker values. Push very lightly on your pencil for a light value, and then push harder for a darker value. Pick your light source as you shade so that the shadows are consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so the shadows are going to be mainly on the bottom of the shapes. Now use a medium value for the rest of the body. Don't shade too smoothly. Use squiggly lines to give the skin a rough texture. Use vertical strokes along the body and horizontal strokes for the legs. Shading can be time consuming, so be patient and take breaks. No one is exactly sure what T-Rexes look like, so you can shade yours differently if you'd like. If you'd like, you can add some stripes along the back and the legs using a darker value. Draw a shadow at the bottom using a medium value. This will ground the T-Rex so that it doesn't appear to be floating. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the T-Rex. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.